Hey guys, Rob Murphy from Holistic Healing Choices here. Now, continuing with the NLP presuppositions, here's number 2. Effective communication lies in its response. So, before we jump into this one, please like, share, comment, subscribe if you like this type of content and you want to see more of this. But anyway guys, let's jump into what presupposition number 2 is all about. So, effective communication is more than conveying wholly what you want. It is the response that matters. The meaning of your communication may not be accurately interpreted, and the response may be different from what you intend, because people respond according to what they think you mean. To elicit the right response, the responsibility is with you to communicate in a manner that enables the other person to understand exactly what you mean. So you need to constantly be focused on the other person's response to what you're saying, instead of assuming that they will grasp what you're trying to convey. So change your communication accordingly until the desired outcome is obtained. So how you say things is more important than what you say. You need to talk to them rather than at them. Now, there are no such things as a failure in communication, only responses and feedback. So if the response differs from what you want, adjust the way that you're communicating. Now, the traditional belief was that two people engaged in conversation and communication, and that they're equally responsible for its success. So it's a 50-50 share. One partner who thinks they've done their best may blame the other for the failure of the mutually beneficial communication. Thus, communication terminates there. No favourable outcome is achieved. Now, if you're a salesman, that termination is your loss and you end up not making any sale. Take responsibility for the success of communication and understand that the fault lies with you, even if you honestly feel that you've communicated to the best of your ability. Change your way of communicating wherever you have to. Now, the interesting thing is that words only make up about 7% of our communication. The rest of the 93% is in non-verbal signs in tone, which make up about 38%, and our body language, which makes up about 55%. Misunderstandings can easily arise whenever spoken words and non-verbal cues do not match. If you volunteer to help a friend, and no matter how much you express your verbal willingness and sincerity to help them, they still decline your offer, what would your reaction be? Would you get angry with them, thinking them foolish or feeling disappointed? It will not alter the outcome. Try to understand why they've declined, and most probably you'll find that your verbal and non-verbal communication does not match, or your voice does not sound sincere, or that your body language does not display the required enthusiasm that they want or that they require to ask for that help or to accept that help. And it's the same thing with children who disobey their parents. They're not necessarily disobedient. There is likely some failure by the parents to communicate adequately with the child. Now, employees who've done something quite different from what their employer wants is the same sort of thing. There's a misunderstanding there. They've misunderstood the orders, and teachers who blame their students who have not understood for fully the lessons that they're being taught, and they blame them for being stupid or inattentive, may have themselves to blame. Not in all cases, but in some. For not conveying the clear instructions. Or maybe they're just boring as hell and their tone, their verbality, their body language as they're reading the lesson out doesn't excite you, doesn't enthuse you, doesn't make you want to learn. Now, when you give good feedback with a friend, with good intention of helping them out, but he feels offended, may well be a result of how you give that feedback. Now, a lot of your time and effort can become wasted if your communication fails to obtain the desired result or outcome. So, if your personal success or your job depends largely on your ability to communicate well, or interacting with people, managing them or depending on them, you need communication skills. In a multiracial or multicultural environment, skill in communication is essential to avoid those misunderstandings. As an effective communicator, you can have far more control over your relationships and those outcomes. So always aim to shift the responsibility for effective communication to yourself. So the meaning there is, if you're not getting the answers or the outcome that you want with your communication, change it. Change it to suit the other person. Change it in a way that they will understand. You are responsible for the outcome of that conversation, of that communication, of those orders that you're giving, or the questions that you're asking. So, just another little one to take into mind. How can you use that to shape what's currently happening in your world, in your life? So this one, I love this one because there's been so many times where, even in my own life, I've asked a question and I've got this answer and it's just like, where the hell did that come from? So realizing that I've asked the question wrong allows me to go back, see what answer I've got here, what answer I want, and allows me to navigate my communication to allow me to get that outcome, that answer that I want. But anyway guys, that is presupposition number 2. What are your thoughts on this? I personally think it's absolutely correct, and there's a lot that can be said for it when you think about our world as it is. But anyway guys, that's it for this one. I'm Rob Murphy, and I'll see you in the next video.